Welcome to your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV show. Jeff, we are live on YouTube. We are live on Twitter, right here at the home of Teen Vision TV 16.
We are worldwide right now.
Well, it's all part of the takeover, right? I mean, we start with the Inland Empire and we just grow from here.
Yes, I'll tell you what, and we're on Twitter, you said?
On Twitter, I'm watching it right now.
That's pretty incredible.
Well, Johnny Nunez and his team back there doing a fantastic job. I'm watching myself watch the show. Is that so weird?
That is a little bizarre.
It's right here. But we've got a big show planned. Of course, this is going to be, this time of the year, it's going to be a lot of high school football because we are now in league play, and these games are magnified in terms of their importance. We're already starting to see, even though last week was the first week of league play for most leagues outside of the Mountain Valley League. It was the first week of league play, but we're already starting to see a little bit of separation, a little bit of teams, moving to the forefront of a league title. Jeff, I know we're going to get to a bunch of games here, but I even know, like, for example, Saturday night on Riverside TV, it's Riverside Poly against Orange Vista. That's a huge game in terms of who's going to win league, who's going to make it to the playoffs. Already, we're only in week 7. That's a big game coming up.
It's a big game because you have a brand new coach, basically a brand new system. Big league for Orange Vista, and Riverside Poly, Coach DeWitt has got them going. You've got John Rice, you've got Bill Powell, and Coach DeWitt. And don't forget, my enemy, Coach Stauffer.
I will never forget.
I'll tell you, I think they're doing a good job, and anytime you have those three guys as coaches, you can't count out the Bears.
Hey, by the way, Coach Stauffer's son, Zach Stauffer, is having a great season at SBVC. I know you guys are mortal enemies, which actually you and Stauffer are like the two nicest guys I know, but somehow you're mortal enemies.
I'll tell you what, if his son is doing well,
he is. He's doing really well.
I am good with him, but anytime I see him, it's all bets are off, gloves are off. My mortal enemy.
I try to bring up Zach because I know Coach Stauffer's having a hard time. He's a big Nebraska fan, Cornhuskers. They're awful. They're bad.
They're 0-4, and every time they lose, just a little bit of me grows.
Big games coming up in week 7. We are in league play in the land of the Big 8. How about Santiago taking on Norco? That is an absolute huge game, Jeff. Let's just assume for our little conversation right now on the Inland Sports TV show that Centennial wins the Big 8. Just for our conversation right now. I know some people say, well, hold on a second. What about Norco? What about Roosevelt? Let's just say for right now, Centennial wins the Big 8. Santiago versus Norco, that's a huge game this week.
I'll tell you what, that's a huge game for one thing. Like you said, betting is legal now in the United States. You know that, right? Sports betting. I would have to venture to say that Centennial will probably win the league, but Santiago and Norco, two potent offenses, and who will be that 1A in that league?
That's what we need to find out because we just saw Santiago lose to Centennial, all right? So Centennial's 1-0, land of the Big 8. They're probably going to run away with it. Norco's pretty good, though. Norco, Santiago, and Roosevelt will be battling for 2, 3, and 4. It looks like it. They have the last couple of years. I don't see anything changing. Norco's one of the top teams in Division 2. Roosevelt and Santiago are two of the top teams in Division 3. That's really good football right there, and these next couple of weeks are going to decide that Big 8 league, at least the standings, playoff positioning.
Well, we know that Norco has a potent offense. They always do. Coach Chastain does a great job. He's got a good quarterback. He's got a very good secondary. So Santiago is going to have to face a juggernaut 2 weeks in a row with Centennial and now Santiago. I'll tell you what, it's going to be tough. And Norco, they are probably the second best team in that league, but Santiago has to show that they deserve to be there.
All right, now let's go to some drama in the River Valley League. Anthony, crank up those La Sierra versus Jurupa Valley highlights because, Jeff, you did this game on Riverside TV. We saw all the games for the first week of River Valley League play, and we thought, there's some really good games out there. Maybe La Sierra versus Jurupa Valley might be the least of the good games. Turned out to be the best one of the week.
I'll tell you what, the biggest surprise of the year, it was probably the game that we least look forward to. You go, well, Jurupa Valley hasn't won a league match, a league game since 2014. They won last year, they won in 2015 a non-league game, but they gave La Sierra everything they could, and they deserved to win that game. They just came up a foot short.
So we had that game in the River Valley League. We also had Hillcrest blowing out Norte Vista. I don't know, did anyone see that coming?
Nobody saw that coming. And I'll tell you what, you had I like to call it Brandorf. You had Coach John Brandon, and then you had
sounds like a Lord of the Rings character or something.
You had Ken Batdorf, and I like to combine them every time they play. So we had the Brandorf Bowl, and I'll tell you what, John Brandon and that potent offense, they scored 3 touchdowns within 3 minutes against the Braves. They were with Malesio and the great Eddie Elaine, the good running back freshman.
Yeah.
But they just couldn't get it done. It was almost mercied. That's how bad the game was.
And then the third game in River Valley League play was Ramona beating Patriot 20-0. Now go back to last year. This was a 5-way tie for first place. And I thought, Jeff, there's no way that this could happen. Lightning cannot strike twice in the River Valley League, and here we are after just 1 round of play, the first week of league play, and I'm scratching my head like, what is going on again?
Well, you look at Hillcrest was 2-3 going into league play. They had 4 teams in the River Valley League that were 4-1. Hillcrest came in and dominated the Braves. Ramona was 4-1, playing against 4-1 Patriot. They held Patriot scoreless. I'll tell you, this is going to be a wacky situation. Norte Vista has to play Ramona the last game of the River Valley League. Hillcrest plays Ramona this week.
That's huge.
The league could be decided by that game if Hillcrest can pull off the upset.
La Sierra having a great year, too. And then we saw Jurupa Valley. I mean, anything could happen in the River Valley League. Jurupa Valley almost knocked them off. Supa Dupa Jurupa.
If Supa Dupa Jurupa had a kicker or would have scored just 1 extra point, they went for 2 on 5 tries, didn't get any, they would have won that ball.
Or kicked a field goal at the end, right?
They would have been an 18-yard field goal. They were on the 1-foot line, and they didn't have a kicker, and that's what cost them the game.
You just mentioned it, Ramona versus Hillcrest this coming week. That's a huge game. Punch up the graphic because it's our radio game of the week. It's Thursday Night Football on the Inland Sports Channel. Ramona versus Hillcrest. Jeff, again, we're only in week 7, so we still have several weeks in front of us. But for being week 7, it doesn't get any bigger than this.
No, like I said, that is the game of the year in the River Valley. Whoever wins that, I think, will eventually win that league championship. Last year, 5-way league championship. This year, it's going to come down to game 2 in the River Valley League. You've got Dante Roby, a great little running back, and a very athletic Osinyande.
Yeah, the QB.
I'll tell you, Ramona is my sleeper. They rush on defense. They blitz. They are going to cause problems for any team they play, and that's going to be a great one on Inland Sports Radio. All
right, so Cullen Holt and Tim Hatch will have the call. That's Thursday night, which Cullen's here in the studio. We're going to talk Centennial football with him a little bit later. Programming note, I believe that's a 7:30 kickoff.
Yes.
So go ahead, mark it down. If you got a pen, write it down or put it in your little notes app on your phone. I believe that's a 7:30 kickoff out there at, was it Zach Earp Stadium, right?
Zach Earp Stadium, the great-grandson of Wyatt Earp.
Is that true?
Yes, it's true. I'll tell you what, I want to say one thing about Zach Earp. Zach Earp went from a campus supervisor to becoming a special aide to a teacher.
At Novi? At Norte Vista?
At Norte Vista. Went on to become the director and then the superintendent of schools. Great story, great place. I got to give it out to Zach Earp.
Started all from the Wild West. Huh?
He's got the handlebar mustache.
No,
yes,
bolo tie?
Yes, he goes to every game. You see him sit up there, and he looks just like Wyatt Earp.
He goes to the games, too.
Every game. He'll be there. You guys can see him, get an interview. You guys on the sideline.
See, that's the problem. I don't always believe everything you say. So I'm standing over here trying to read you. Like, are you messing with me right now?
No, we interviewed him for Riverside TV.
You did?
Yes, of course we did. You go down and tell him Coach Gorham said hi.
But walk up to him and go like, hey, what's up, Zach?
6 shooters.
All right, we just mentioned it. Cullen's going to join us a little bit later on the show, but we want to touch on Centennial real quick. You can punch up those highlights because they had a huge win against Santiago. Jeff, they run the Big 8 League, and it's not so much winning a Big 8 League championship. It's more so looking down the road in the CIF Southern Section Division I playoffs. You've got Mater Dei, you've got Bosco, and you've got Centennial in at number 3 right now. Now, Centennial will not play one of those teams until like the semifinals, right, of Division I. But Bosco and Mater Dei will play head-to-head. still in Trinity League play. So if you're trying to figure out who Centennial might see in the semifinals, you have to wait for Bosco and Mater Dei to play head-to-head in Trinity League play, because the loser will slip down to 2 or 3. Centennial will be 2 or 3. That's the team that'll play in the semis, assuming they reach that point, which we all assume they will.
And we're talking about 3 teams that aren't talking about just CIF championships, state championships, but national championships. That's what it boils down to. Everybody talks about Max Preps, the different publications, and everyone has those 3 teams possibly winning a national championship.
I know you're seeing some video highlights of the big win against the Sharks. In this game, Centennial is basically starting a brand new offensive line. They even have a freshman starting up front, yet they're still able to give their quarterbacks, they're running that platoon quarterback system with Carter Friedland and Ala Mikaele, and they're doing great. They're doing a fantastic job. I think the success of Centennial has been accelerated because that young new offensive line has really found its footing. They're doing a great job. So later in the show, we're going to hear from Centennial running back Octavio Cortez, who had 4 touchdowns in that win against the Sharks, because, again, a lot of it has to do with that O-line.
I want to say this. I'm sure Cullen will touch on this. Octavio Cortez had the best run of any guy I'd seen.
Did you see that video?
Unbelievable. That needed to be on the Sports Center highlights. That was incredible.
Good thing it's coming up later in this very show. Let's go to Kaiser versus Summit. That's a big game coming up this week. Kaiser, throw out that game when they lost to Aquinas 9-zip. Kaiser looks really good, and this Christian Hunter guy, he ran for 328 yards last week against Fontana. We had Tyler Algier last year, who was awesome. Awesome running back for Kaiser.
Yes.
Christian Hunter is just as good.
I'll tell you, Algier has ended up at BYU.
Yes.
And Billy Cardosi, what are you doing? I'm going to call you out. You hammered your alma mater. They beat Fontana. That's where he went to school.
Yeah, no mercy on Faux High.
You don't do that, but I'll say it.
You don't do that. How dare you?
Christian Hunter is averaging 225 yards a game, 13 yards per carry, and he's got almost 1,500 yards on the ground so far this season. That guy is a beast.
Well, when we talked about our non-league MVP, of course, Christian Hunter was up there as well. He's posting crazy numbers right now for the Kaiser Cats. And Billy Cardosi and those guys, they're going to be in the hunt for that Sunkist League championship when it's all said and done. If I was going to just make a stab at it, I would say Grand Terrace versus Kaiser will be the game.
That will be the game.
Say, right?
But yeah, I'm still going to call you out, Billy Cardosi, doing that to your alma mater. My buddy, Billy Cardosi.
All right, now moving on to the Mountain Pass League. And Jeff, we continue this collision course for Citrus Hill against San Jacinto. Now, San Jacinto's good. They're #1 in Division 7. We had Coach Galliano right over here in our set. They're #1 in D7. They're undefeated. Citrus Hill's undefeated. I just don't know. How big is that gap? The gap's been really big for Citrus Hill, right? In the Mountain Pass League, just to be fair, right? That gap's been big. It's like an accordion, though, right? Everything kind of comes together and goes apart. How close is that gap right now with San Jacinto and Citrus Hill? I think that's the big question going into this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, that is going to be key. We've seen Beaumont, Coach Steinberg, he's going to be a big part of this league for years to come. That separation could shorten, definitely, with Orange Vista being a part of the area. It's going to shrink that talent pool, I think, a little bit at Citrus Hill. We might see some separation get a little closer.
All right, let's go ahead and punch up those Citrus Hill highlights. They had a big opening win in the Mountain Pass League. In fact, in our next segment, we're going to hear from Derek DeWitt, the head coach at Riverside Poly High School. He had glowing things to say about Citrus Hill. The Hawks are good. I mean, and they really don't have the numbers. They usually have big varsity teams. I think they've maybe got, 50 guys maybe out there for varsity. But they're big, they're physical. They've always got great skill position. They're going to play great on defense. Coach Zomalt does such a great job doing on defense, because now that Greg's at Orange Vista doing his thing, Eric Zomalt's just still doing a fantastic job with the Hawks. They're one of the top-ranked teams as well in Division 3. So when you look at Division 3, Jeff, Citrus Hill, Cajon. We got Santiago and Roosevelt right now, all in Division III. Those are all potential playoff teams, and maybe we'd see a quarterfinal or a semifinal game featuring a couple of those.
Well, the good thing about when you're all Division III and you're all good teams, they're going to play each other.
They'll have to.
They're going to get better and better and better as the season goes on. A lot of teams will get worse as they get going if they lose the games, but these teams are so good. They play against great teams every single Friday night. They could all be dangerous come playoff time.
Now, we have our own Inland Sports football rankings, and that's where we're going to go next. But I will say, in the CIF Southern section rankings, they have Cajon 2 and Citrus Hill was 3. So it was like 2-3. They're right on top of each other. So if the season ended like right now, let's just say it ended right now, Cajon Citrus Hill would be a semifinal game in Division III.
I would pay to see that.
That would be a fantastic game. But again, we got a lot of football to get to. Let's go to those Inland Sports Grade 8 and 4 more high school football rankings. Again, we're starting to see these teams play head-to-head. Cajon beating Rev kind of got the Cowboys back on track. I don't know if it's enough to put them ahead of Rancho Verde or Norco at this point, because Rancho Verde's #1 in Division II, and then Norco is number 2 in Division II. So it's Cajon. We got Cajon at 5. We got Heritage at 4, simply because Heritage beat Cajon head-to-head. Citrus Hill's in at number 6. It's hard, Jeff. Like, I mean, the Inland Sports supercomputer is working overtime to squirt these rankings out. It's difficult right now.
I'll tell you what, it's difficult, and I'm looking at the rankings. I want to say Norco is my 1A team. I'll tell you, just because you have a possibility of having an NFL-style quarterback there with Illingsworth.
Shane Illingsworth.
Shane Illingsworth is a very good player, but Norco, they've got a great offensive line. I think they're going to do damage. But there's a couple teams. Marietta Valley is starting to come on.
Vista Murrieta. They're ranked right now in Division I for CIF right now.
They've come out. They've kind of made a resurgence after being away for a couple of years.
Yes.
So it's nice to see the teams that we've always rise to the occasion make their forefront, like Vista Murrieta.
All right, so those are our rankings right now. So you're telling me, Jeff, if Norco played the Rancho Verde for the CIF Southern Section Division II championship, you think Norco would have the edge if they played today?
I think so, just because of the schedule that these guys play. They play every single week you're playing against great teams. Every week. And you're just going to, like I said, the good teams get better as they get on. As long as guys stay healthy, I think Norco has a shot to win it all.
Here's the good news. I'm not going to rush to judgment until Centennial plays Norco, right? We'll find out how good Norco is. And Rancho Verde is going to play Heritage in the final week. So once we see those games, we'll be like, okay, now we know kind of where we stand before we get to the playoffs.
But we've seen Heritage do a number on a very athletic Cajon team. I'm excited to see the same because Rancho Verde has athletes everywhere. They've got guys that play basketball or on the state championship track teams. They've got dudes all over the place. I can't wait to see that matchup.
Oh, speaking of the Rancho Verde, when we come back on your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV show, we will talk more the Rancho Verde football. We're also going to visit the Rain Cross Conference, which includes Rancho Verde.
That's right.
They're in the Ivy League. We'll also talk Sun Belt League football and Inland Valley League football. We got some interviews that we're going to play with Dennis Brown at North, as well as Derek DeWitt at Riverside Poly. So that's when we come back. Also, if you would like to sponsor here on the show, if you're a local business or a manager, a local owner, we'd love to have you on our show as well. Just shoot us a quick email. It's simple. inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. inlandsportsshow@gmail.com. Super inexpensive, and nobody's doing this.
No, and if you're a restaurant or a food place, I'll tell you what, you need to definitely sign up because I like food, and you could be you'd be a great sponsor here at the Inland Sports Show.
You could cater the shows. Johnny over here and his whole team. You know, we could
craft services.
Yeah, green room with tons of food in it.
That'd be awesome. I need it.
You don't look like you don't need it. I don't need it either, but I would eat it.
It'd be gluten free.
Oh, that's the only way.
There you go.
When we come back, more high school football here on your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV show.
Inland Sports.
This is Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick,
quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
I played once upon a time at Centennial High School. I was actually on the first ever CIF championship team back in 2000, and then my senior year we won it again. I'd say that's my passion because I've done it. You know, I know exactly where these athletes are at. I know what their mindset is right now. I know how hard it is to, number one, find a performance coach who can take you to the next level. What sets us apart has to be, you know, how we work with our athletes and what we know. We can take an athlete and you know, help them reach their athletic potential, you know, help them, you know, prevent injuries, help get them stronger. I know every single athlete who steps into this gym. I know exactly where they're at, and I'm going to progress them every week. If you're not getting results, then, you know, really what's it about? We're going to deliver something that's measurable, you know, in terms of speed, power, you know, strength, agility.
Focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
And welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. In fact, I just came from Spoiled. I was at Spoiled, and I came right over here to Teen Vision TV 16. They're so friendly over there. I got the mint. Of course, I got the oil change. And it was like a NASCAR pit crew. I like barely sat down. They're like, your car's ready.
But wait, they didn't give you a flower, or they just give that to the women?
Just the ladies. And you. The ladies and you.
The last time I went, they gave me a nice carnation. And I wore it as a boutonniere.
You did? Yeah. You're going to prom or something?
Oh, yeah. Anytime you can wear a boutonniere just around. I just like saying the word boutonniere.
Shout out to Billy Navigado and his team out there. I didn't see Bill. I saw Billy, the son, out there. He's like, how's it going? This time of year must be nuts. And I'm like, you have no idea. Just ask my wife. It's football season. It's a different animal. We're always on the move. We're doing games. We're doing shows. We're very active during football season.
Very much so.
So that's why I had to get the oil change. In fact, I don't think I was due till like sometime in mid-November. And here it is. We barely start October. I'm like, I'm way overdue, man. I've been driving all over the place, doing it for you guys, the Inland Empire, because we love high school football so much. All right, let's talk about the Rain Cross Conference here because, again, just a quick refresher course if you're not familiar with it. It's chunked out into 3 different leagues.
It's a super conference.
It is a super conference. There's 14 teams, Ivy League, Sun Belt League, Inland Valley League. Up in the top, the Ivy League, we have Rancho Verde, Heritage, Paloma Valley, and Valley View. Go ahead and punch up those Rancho Verde highlights, courtesy of Rancho Verde TV and Steve Brockman out there. They're going on the road everywhere. This was at Temescal Canyon this week. Rancho Verde, I don't know what it is, but like they've always got speed and skill guys all over the place. And I kind of compare them a little bit to Cajon because they do have great quarterback play. They got good running back, good receivers. But we saw what Heritage did against Cajon. If Heritage wants to play physical and pound the football, it was almost like the Cowboys' kryptonite. So, you know what I mean? Like they hadn't seen a team like that. So I'm just curious, if Heritage and the Rancho Verde meet in the final week of the season, what would win out? Would it be physical play, running the football, ground and pound, or is it going to be let's throw the ball through the air, we're going to run around you because we're faster than you? Like, what would win out in that situation?
Well, you know, anytime you have Coach, if it ain't Broach, Coach Broach, I'll tell you, is one of those guys that will adjust to the teams he plays. If he needs to score points, we saw him score points against Heritage, but then we also saw him lose a tough one to Redlands East Valley, where they didn't put up very many points.
Yeah, it was 12-6.
Yeah,
it was bizarre.
So it could be one of those type of games where if Coach Broach says, I need to score more points, this could be a 50, 60 point. Each team scores. They could score over 100 points a game.
And it was at the Rancho in Division II. So I'm just saying, I don't know if they would meet in the playoffs, but there's at least a potential. There's a possibility.
Oh, and we've seen teams that have played during the regular season end up meeting again.
Well, Rancho Verde and Citrus Hill did that,
exactly.
Right?
So we could definitely see it happening. And the earlier in the conference is better than playing later on in conference and then having to play 2 or 3 weeks later.
It's tough to beat the same team twice in a season. So if they meet in league play and then a couple weeks later they meet in the playoffs, that's always a strange dynamic. The team who won the first meeting, do they have the upper hand, or the team who lost the first meeting, maybe they learned some things, and again, tough to beat the same team twice in one season. But again, that's down the road. We love to speculate here and play all these hypotheticals, but we don't know if Rancho Verde would play Heritage in the playoffs. But it's kind of fun to think about if that would happen.
Well, you would hope that the inland teams would win just so they could play each other.
Yeah. Heritage, Rancho Verde, who we're talking about Norco. Redlands East Valley's Division II. So there's some chock full of IE teams in Division II. Now, also in the Rain Cross Conference, we have the Inland Valley League. One of the games coming up is JW North taking on Lakeside. That's a Riverside TV game coming up on Friday night. Jeff, you'll be on the call for that one. I had a chance to talk to Dennis Brown, the head football coach for the Huskies. And again, he was rocking the mustache. He was feeling good. They're coming off a big win. He looks like he's at home in those North colors. You know what I mean? Like, I know he had some great seasons at Riverside Poly. He led him to a CIF title game. He was at King for a little bit, but he looks normal in JW North colors, and he's excited about what they might be able to do here in the league.
Well, growing up in Riverside and knowing the entire Brown family, I always pictured him in green and orange or some form of green, whether it be Notre Dame or Poly, but he is doing a great job at North. I'm interested to see this new North team because I saw them week 1 versus Grand Terrace. And it was, remember, they had the fires, so they missed like 8 days of practice. So it was kind of a rough game to watch early on, the first game of the year, but I'm looking forward to seeing this North team 6 weeks later.
They got some dudes on offense. We do know that. Nick Satcher, the quarterback, he's pretty good. They got a couple running backs. Senior Gerald Calhoun, almost 500 yards, 7 touchdowns. They got a freshman, Venancio Micaele.
Whoa.
Which I asked. I said, hey, is he a brother or relative of Ala Micaele at Centennial, the quarterback? And he's like, I don't think so. So you never know. There's the big families out there. We don't. He said no. He didn't think so. But he's a freshman getting some carries. And then wide receiver Jalen Hawkins, 507 yards receiving, 6 touchdowns as well. So North taking on Lakeside this Friday night in Inland Valley League play. Again, it's week 7. So all these games, if you win, you feel like you're still in the hunt for a league championship. If you lose, you feel like, man, we've got an uphill battle now. We're going to need some help. We're going to need some other teams to fall off. So we had a chance to catch up with Dennis Brown, the head football coach at JW North.
Inland Sports.
Again, what did you guys do well in that Paris game that keeps you optimistic, builds some confidence going into this game?
I thought we cleaned up some things offensively. We were a little more consistent. Both running backs played well. In fact, when the running backs play well, that means the offensive line's doing their job. So some consistency there. And then defensively, I thought again we're improving each week. Players are understanding what we're trying to do, and so they're getting more confidence each week. So, and then kicking game was a little cleaner. Still got ways to go there, but that's continuing to build on that.
Inland Sports.
All right, so that was Dennis Brown, the head football coach of the Huskies, talking about, again, their big win against Paris. Kind of get a little momentum, right? Get that ball rolling.
Yes, very much so.
And going into this big game against Lakeside, which, again, Lakeside beat Ramona. Ramona's pretty good, Jeff.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I thought of all the River Valley League teams, Ramona surprised me the most just because they're athletic. They play hard. I mean, I haven't seen a team play as hard as this Ramona team that Coach Mashinsky's got them going. They play hard from start to finish, and they've been the biggest surprise for me this year.
All right, so Poly versus Orange Vista is coming up on Saturday night. That's also a Riverside TV game. Poly's got some guys on offense, like North. They've got some guys who can get into the end zone as well. They got two running backs, Henderson and Carmen. It's kind of like thunder and lightning. Henderson's more of the shifty, fast guy. Carmen's going to run between the tackles, run some guys over. They got both those guys. And now finally, their star on the defensive side of the football, Warren Harden, finally getting back to full strength. So we also had a chance to catch up with Coach Derek DeWitt, the head coach of the Riverside Poly Bears. And he feels like, Jeff, for the first time this season, he's kind of got all his guys together, and they're pretty much healthy. So now we're going to find out what Riverside Poly is all about, because he's pretty much got a whole complement of his guys on the field. So here's head coach Derek DeWitt.
Inland Sports.
This is a big game on Saturday night. I know it's still, we're kind of in the middle of the year, but this is a big game in terms of, deciding an eventual league champion. How do you kind of see Saturday night's game against Orange Vista?
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a huge challenge for us. 1-0, like you said, but our goal is to go 2-0. We take one game at a time. We have a very, very tough opponent. They're very fast, very athletic. They're a well-coached team. So our kids, we have a lot of work to do. Looking forward for practice today to see what the Poly Bears are going to do Saturday night.
And you were saying finally guys are coming back, close to being full strength, if not at full strength, with Warren Harden and a couple other guys. Are you excited to see all your guys on the field and see what you really got now?
Oh, man, you're exactly right. I'm very excited to see these kids. It was good to have those guys back this past Friday. Having Warren and Keaton back kind of gave everyone a boost, and the sidelines were going crazy. They celebrated each other, so that was really good. So just to see Warren and Jalen play well and Javier play well in the middle, that's going to help out everybody.
Inland Sports.
All right, that's Derek DeWitt. Good dude. We were watching the interview. You're like, man, he's such a good guy.
I'm going to say this: of all these coaches in the area, he's new to Riverside, but I've had a good bond with him. Every time I see him, we laugh, we talk basketball, we talk a lot of food. He's a good dude, and I love him. I can't wait to see him.
All right, and he's got a great coaching staff.
Yes.
Including Stauffer and Bill Powell.
You know what? Forget Stauffer. They got Bill Powell, John Rice. Those guys are stellar dudes, better people, great coaches.
All right, let's wrap up our Raincross Conference predictions here, our conversation. Let's not pick winners. It's too early. Don't put me in a corner, pick a winner. But here are the games that you need to watch in the Raincross Conference, Jeff. So in the Ivy League, we can agree it's Rancho Verde and Heritage. When those two teams see each other in the final week, that's the game. In that middle lump, right, the middle, I thought the big game was in the Sun Belt League was Notre Dame and Paloma Valley, and Paloma Valley won that going away. I feel like Paloma Valley in the middle rung in the Sun Belt League, I think Paloma Valley's coming on strong right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, Paloma Valley has really changed the way they play. Remember, they were always through the air. Now they're on the ground running the ball, but their defense is really, they've hung their hat defensively this year. And I'll tell you, a big change from what Bert Esposito used to do to what they're doing now, and it's really working for them.
And finally, in the Inland Valley League, listen, Riverside Poly against Orange Vista Saturday night is very, very big. But North plays Poly in the final week. rivalry game, a league title or a piece of the league title could be on the line, playoff positioning, all this stuff could be wrapped into one when North and Poly get head-to-head, which is always fun. That's a rivalry game. That's big.
Hey, those guys do not like each other at all. I'm not kidding around. I grew up, Ramona hated Poly, North hated Poly. Now, I'll tell you what, this is the classic rivalry to end the season. I can't wait for that one.
They hate each other.
Oh yeah. We, Poly, Ramona, we don't talk to Poly. And North guys, they don't. See, North guys will talk to Ramona guys.
Yeah.
Because we're buddies. We're like, we're on the
simpatico, as you would say.
Yes, we are on the wrong side of the tracks, as you say. And then you have Poly. Oh yeah, Poly's hoity-toity, and you gotta hate him. But I do like everybody over there, so I can't rip my Bears too much.
Good dudes all the way around. When we come back, we will talk more Centennial High School football, our interview with Octavio Cortez, running back for the Huskies, plus we'll recap a busy weekend of local college football as well. We'll be back on your favorite show. It's the Inland Sports TV show.
Thank God, first of all. I thank the great people that I've got around me that help support me, the people that work for me. As I started, if it wasn't for the people around me, we probably wouldn't be here right now, but I've got a great staff. I've got great people that do stuff for us outside the store, and we've been very, very fortunate. Our service is impeccable, and we just keep trying to get better every year. We can do online stuff for your teams, as well as, like I said, the screen printing, the embroidery. We also have 3 women that do extra sewing for us, like tackle tool on uniforms, or the bling or rhinestones for different shirts for the ladies. That's why we have certain racks just for certain schools, and the fun about that is that it turns into other schools that may come in here that aren't as close, that we can do stuff for them as well. We've had very, very good customers throughout the years, and it's just been a blast.
We're small, family-owned, strive for quality pre-owned vehicles. We're not a volume dealer, and we take every deal as personal to us. We're a low-stress environment. We're not a pressure sales house. If you want to shop us, you're more than welcome to shop us. We have, like I said, great rates, competitive financing, a lot of one-owner, clean Carfax, clean title vehicles. As you see, we have Carfax everywhere. That's most important to us, to educate our customers before they make a purchase. We're right off of Ontario, right off a couple exits off the 15 freeway, off Cajelco, off El Cerrito, and we're right on the main drag going into Dos Logos and the crossings. We have great financing, we have great lenders that we're using. We do buy, sell, trade, cash for your car, whatever we need to do to help accommodate the customer, that's what we're here for. We have a little bit of everything. We start at about $69.95 and go all the way up to $100,000. We have Escalades, we have commuters, we have pickup trucks, we have Jeeps, sport utilities, and if we don't have it, our specialty is finding you exactly what you're looking for.
This is Centennial High School football coach Matt Logan. You're watching the Inland Sports Show.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. We're talking Centennial football. That was Matt Logan.
He's evil. He's just evil. He's a Sith Lord.
I was shooting video there on Thursday night, and like right before kickoff, I'm getting a shot of him, on the sideline. He just comes over. He's like, "Hey, what's up, Pep?" I was like, "Look at that. Big game. One of the biggest high school football coaches in the country, still comes over and says hello.
No, when you're evil, you can do those kind of things. He's super evil. He's the Sith Lord, but I like him.
And I actually chatted with his dad, Wade Logan.
The Sith Lord has a dad?
Yeah, I know. There's always two. Remember the rule of two.
That's right. That's right.
For the Sith, there's always two. But yeah, his dad, Wade, is such a great guy. I talked to him for a while. Dr. Alexis Burrill, the principal out there at Centennial High School. A lot of good people. Bill Gunn, athletic director out there at Centennial High School. When we come out there, because we did the game live on the Inland Sports Channel, at Santiago. They were so good to us, and Steve Mitchell at Santiago as well. They rolled out the red carpet for Inland Sports.
Real quick, wasn't there something with the athletic director won't talk to anyone until he shakes the hand?
That's true. So Bill Gunn, he has a thing, because I went up to him, I was like, hey, Bill, how's it going? He's like, hey, Pep. He just gave me a hug. He wouldn't shake my hand. I'm like, hey, how's it going? He's like, good. He's like, hey, so here's the deal. He's like, I don't shake anyone's hand on the sideline until we do the coin toss, and then I shake Matt Logan's hand, and then after I shake Matt's hand, then it's free game.
Oh, okay.
It's fair game for everyone else.
I remember hearing something about that on the broadcast. I went,
but it's worked out, right? Centennial's really good. So, all right, we're going to talk about the Centennial ground and pound running game. They got a couple great running backs, Thomas Kinslow and Octavio Cortez. Cullen Holt was at the game and has more on Cortez. Cullen?
Yeah, Centennial's always been known for their long line of studs at the running back position, and this year's edition, Octavio Cortez, has over 380 yards. He went into Friday night's rivalry game against Santiago with 4 touchdowns on the season, and by the time he left the field, well, he had 4 more. So the 5'9" senior, who has all kinds of big play capabilities, coupled with Thomas Kinslow, has opposing defenses staying up all night. So we got a chance to catch up with Octavio Cortez after that big win in the Battle of Rimpau.
Inland Sports.
Just our offensive line was clicking today, and I was just following their blocks and doing what I was supposed to do.
2-quarterback system, what can you say about your signal callers tonight?
We work with them at practice every week, so they're getting better every week.
Santiago's a good team. You guys beat them handily. I mean, how do you use this momentum going into the rest of the Big 8 League play?
Definitely keep getting better. This is the first league game, so we're definitely going to get better.
What are some of the things you have to maybe get better on?
I think just playing a little bit faster. I started off a little slow to get going, but that's going to change in the next few weeks, getting ready for the playoffs.
Talk about your fellow running backs and how you guys push each other in practice.
Every week at practice is a grind. We always battle with each other, so that's how we work.
Well, Centennial will take on Corona in Big 8 League play as they continue their quest for a perfect season after that win over Santiago. Pep and Jeff, back to you guys.
Something Cullen just brought up. Yeah, Centennial's had a long line of great running backs. And I know in recent memory, last couple of years, they had Trey Watson. Yeah. Had a great year or career at Cal. He's now with the Texas Longhorns as a grad transfer. And J.J. Taylor at the University of Arizona. I think he went for like over 280 yards against Oregon State. Like J.J. Taylor's having a fantastic season for the Arizona Wildcats. So they always seem to crank out great running backs at Centennial High School. All right, quick recap on local college football. Jeff, we talked last week about SBVC setting a modern record of 70 points.
Yes.
So they play Pasadena City. What do they do? They go for 69 points.
Come on. These are basketball scores.
They are posting a ton of points. It was 69-20 on the road at Pasadena City. Quarterback Armando Herrera, another big game, 357 yards. And
Stop.
What?
Go ahead, finish that sentence there. I just saw.
He matched a school record, which he already owns. He already authored the record. He tied his own school record of 7 touchdown passes.
Holy smokes. Hey, I just want to say it's JC football.
What was the game that you saw? You texted me.
I texted Pep this weekend. Chaffey College beat somebody.
Was it Compton?
Compton, yes, it was Compton Community College. They beat them 91-0.
Yeah, that's right.
So I'm like, this is like the Golden State Warriors basketball. They're putting up numbers, unheard of numbers, and you look at every single week. You look down the scores, and all these JC teams are pummeling each other, pummeling.
I got your text right here. It's legit. It's right here. And that's what Coach Algada said at Valley College. That's what he likes to do. The more snaps, the better. They're going to play fast. They're going to have a lot of plays, and they're going to score a lot of points.
Well, I'll tell you, how long do those games, they've got to last like 4 or 5 hours.
Oh, they do.
Yeah.
I'm there. They do. And also the University of Redlands, big win to open up SCIAC play. 15-13 on the road at Pomona-Pitzer. Defensive struggle there. Bulldogs get the win back home this Saturday night at Ted Runner Stadium as they will take on Chapman. We'll be out there getting some video highlights of that one. Because, again, U of R, the only 4-year college football team in the IE.
And the best, by far the best ticket to go watch college football. Great college atmosphere, great crowd, awesome.
They got mascots, like including a real live dog, Addie, the bulldog.
Yes, that's right.
The cheerleaders, the student section, the band, they got the whole thing. It's fun out there. So we'll be out there as well on Saturday night checking out U of R and Chapman. When we come back here on the Inland Sports Show, Jeff, we're going to talk Kawhi Leonard. He's one of our favorites.
The laugher? The funny guy?
Oh, we played his laugh last week.
Oh, my God.
That wasn't doctored. Sometimes we mess around and we didn't touch that. That was his real laugh. We're going to talk Kawhi Leonard. He actually played in a game.
What?
It was a preseason game, but he played in a real game for the first time, well, shoot, maybe since last December?
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, he gave up on basketball, and now he's making a comeback. This is a comeback. Yes.
Kawhi Leonard and local guys from the IE and the Major League Baseball playoffs when we come back on the Inland Sports TV show.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike Maynard, the head football coach at the University of Redlands, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Spoiled. Quick, quality oil change. Spoil yourself and your car at Spoiled. Kin Sporting Goods. They have all of your sporting gear needs, Letterman's jackets, and team uniforms. Catalano Motors in Corona off of Temescal Canyon Road. You're going to save thousands of dollars at Catalano Motors. And Boost Performance Training with Coach Ray Bass. Athletes of all levels and all sports are going to Boost Performance Training in Corona.
We focus on the customer here. Believe it or not, that is the biggest thing for customers on an oil change. They just want the convenience of coming in, driving in, getting it done, and driving out. We just greet them, get them going, and they're done in about 10 minutes or so. We don't push any sales on them. We do the oil change, and I think that's what sets us apart is our customer service. Vacuumed and cleaned your windshield for you as well. Everything's looking pretty good. Come into us one time, believe me, we'll spoil you and you'll be ready to come back the next time.
Inland Sports.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports TV show. Kawhi Leonard back with the Toronto Raptors. Let's play the video. We got proof. He did play in a preseason game.
Come on.
He's coming back from whatever that was.
Yeah, it's going to take time to get my rhythm, but I felt great being out there and just being able to compete, like I said before, just having fun. Because you're doing in-game situations. You're seeing what we're really going to do on the floor, play calls. Also, another NBA team that's been scouting you. So just things like this is just going to keep getting us better.
Inland Sports.
So he's back. He played in the game, didn't play a lot, but he was out there running around, made some nice passes, knocked down some baskets.
He's playing in a foreign land. He's going to be down here.
A foreign land?
Yes.
It's Canada. It's not that far.
It's a foreign. You need a passport, Pep. You need a passport.
That's true.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him play this year.
Do you think Toronto will be pretty good, and more so, do you think he'll enjoy his experience with the Raptors so much that he might not come to Los Angeles? There's even some speculation that the Clippers are the front runner, not the Lakers right now, to get Kawhi Leonard when he becomes a free agent next summer. But do you think he'll enjoy Toronto so much, he'll have a huge season, and he'll be like, you know what, things are going so well, I'm staying way up here in this foreign land of Canada?
I love Toronto. A couple friends of mine, Tracy Murray, played up in Toronto. A couple other of my friends that played in the NBA love Toronto, love living there, but no, he's not. He's going to be a Laker. He'll be a Laker.
He's not going to be a Laker? No.
Yes, he'll be a Laker.
He'll be a Clipper.
He might be a Laker before the trade deadline.
Before the trade deadline, Toronto is going to be like the #1 team in the Eastern Conference, and they're going to be like, we're not trading away Kawhi Leonard.
If you can't re-sign him, you got to get something for him, and that the Lakers have a lot of young pieces. And there's no way he's going to the Clippers.
Listen, he hasn't smiled or laughed in years.
Yeah,
he barely got there to this foreign land. He's already smiling and laughing. He loves it.
No, you can't even call it a laugh what he did. So no, he might be happy because Toronto's a great place to hang out. You know, go. The nightlife's fun. But no way the guy is coming back to L.A. He's going to be a Laker. Not a Clipper, Laker.
He's laughing. He's smiling. He loves it. I got to tear him out of Toronto. He loves it so much.
Yeah, no way. We might see some of those young Lakers gone for Kawhi Leonard.
All right, finally, let's talk about some of our local guys from the Inland Empire who have made the Major League Baseball postseason. And, Jeff, there's some good ones. We saw the drama with the Dodgers. They won their 6th consecutive National League West championship. Austin Barnes is a catcher for the Dodgers. Here's what gets me, because if you remember back to last season, Austin Barnes was the main catcher primarily for the Dodgers down the stretch of the regular season and into the playoffs. It wasn't Yasmani Grandal. It was Austin Barnes. This year, a little bit different. Austin Barnes is not the primary guy right now. It's been Yasmani Grandal.
And Yasmani Grandal had the yips, remember, earlier this year. He seems to have kind of gathered his game back. I'd love to see Austin Barnes get his opportunity. Remember, he saved them in the World Series. They didn't win it, but he saved them.
Now, the Dodgers have not announced, I think, officially their postseason roster, but you've got to figure Austin Barnes is going to be on that because they got to have another catcher, right? He's going to be on there. Plus, he's very versatile. He can play at second base or some different spots as well. So we got Austin Barnes. We got Jake Marisnick, of course, from Riverside Poly and the Houston Astros. Austin Barnes, a Poly guy as well. Joe Kelly, the pride of Corona High School and UC Riverside, pitcher with the Boston Red Sox. Funny guy, too, right?
Yes, a middle reliever. A stud. He has an opportunity. Jake Marisnick, by the way, already has a ring from last year, so he's going for a second ring.
Jacob Nottingham from Redlands High School, a catcher for the Brewers. Yeah, the sheriff of Nottingham. He got called up. And Aaron Brooks out of Cajon High School and Cal State San Bernardino with the Oakland A's. Those are some of the guys that we're following. Again, these teams, they have to announce their postseason rosters because in September they expand to 40 guys. In the postseason, I believe it's 25. So, again, it's kind of like an accordion. We'll see who actually makes the cut going into the postseason. But these are some guys that we need to keep an eye on as we go through the Major League Baseball postseason. Because, again, the IE produces some really great baseball teams and players, and it's evident by these are just the guys going on playoff teams. I mean, we got guys all over the place in Major League Baseball.
They are peppered all across Major League Baseball. And I'll tell you, it's really cool when you can see guys from our area that have an opportunity to be a world champ.
All right, we got to thank our fine folks here at Teen Vision TV 16 because I got to run out to a big-time volleyball match. Redlands Christian taking on Packing House Christian.
Whoa.
Yeah, I mean, that's big time.
That's a big one.
They shut down the city of Redlands, and that's where everybody goes. Throw the records out the window when those two get together. A big thanks to our technical director, Anthony Trujillo.
Yeah, look at you.
He's out there. He's an Angels fan, I think, so you like him.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the next Angels manager, by the way?
I know. Eric Chavez. You called it earlier in the year.
Well, if you just put 2 and 2 together, you can kind of see what was afoot.
Okay, I had 2 people, Joe Girardi or Chavez.
It's got to be Chavez. And, of course, our fearless director, Johnny Nunez, in the back running the show. We appreciate you tuning in. If you'd like to sponsor on the show, local business or company, hit us up, inlandsportshow@gmail.com. We'd appreciate it. We throw our sponsors throughout the show, and they keep the lights on for us and keep the show going.
Yes, they do.
All right, for Cullen Holt, Jeff Gorham, I'm Pep Fernandez, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports TV Show.